Hello, welcome to Math 95 Online. I'm Gary Parker. I'm going to show you a brief intro to the course. So once you get logged into Canvas, you'll see on your dashboard you have an Intermediate Algebra Math 95 Section 6 course that you can get into. There's a welcome page that's going to open up for the first week, and then after that, the main page will be modules. And the course is set up in modules. There's the course information, which you need to read through. There's some surprise quizzes. There's a discussion page where you can post questions about problems you're working on. And then it goes by chapter. Let's go back to the welcome page for a minute. So you can contact me through the inbox here or by emailing me directly at this address right here. You want to read the welcome message right away, and before you do anything, even though it says to do stuff in here, read everything first and then go back and do stuff. You want to read the syllabus thoroughly. And once you do that, you're going to take the syllabus quiz. Now, I'm not going to read through this for you. You can do that. There is a daily work schedule that you need to look at. And then for online homework, we're using a system called MyOpenMath. And that's integrated right into Canvas. And so I'll show you that in a moment. So again, please read through all of this material right here. One important thing I'll mention now that I mentioned in the first email I sent out, that this course is tough, but it's doable, and it requires time. So if you can't budget at least 2 hours a day, every day for the next 10.5 weeks, then you shouldn't be in this course. So think really hard about your schedule for the next 3 months, and if you really do have the time for this. The main reason people fail this course is not because the material is too hard, it's because they didn't have adequate time to work on the course. So, do you have the time? Very important question. You need to answer it. So after the first week, you'll have the modules page here as your home page. And again, that welcome message is there if there's anything you need to look back to. The textbook for this course can be found free online, or you can get it from the bookstore. And so I'm going to click the link here for the book. It pops up into a new window. I use a system called CK12, which has all kinds of material for K through 12 and college type courses. Inside the course, there'll be links, more links to each chapter and to each section. And the way this course works on a daily basis is you will read through the textbook. And reading a math book, you're not just reading, you're doing too. So when there's an example, you're going to try that example also. Okay, so some of it's just read, but here's an example, and I want to try to do the example, and then I want to check out their solution, see if what I did worked also. So there's a little bit of review in the first section. Some other features on the K through 12 site. There's a PDF version of the book you can get if you want to print it out. So I would just click that. It wants me to sign in. Yeah, so you can sign in with Google or Facebook or create an account if you want to do the printout. And then they also have a reader, and the reader's kind of nice. This is brand new. It wasn't here a month ago. And the reader you definitely have to sign in to do. And so I am going to sign in here. Google, so I don't have to worry about a username and a password. So then it takes me to the reader. You can download the whole book at once, and then it'll be available offline to you. So if you have internet that's sketchy or you only have internet sometimes, this is a good thing to grab right away. Otherwise, in the reader, you can grab each section just like I could in the previous page. And just the main difference is they have some sidebar stuff here, which kind of restricts the width at which I can review the book. Here, I get this full page view of the book, which I think is kind of nice. So you get a couple of ways to read the book: by grabbing a PDF of it and printing it on paper, getting it through the bookstore, or viewing it online through the normal CK12 website or their new reader. The benefit of the new reader is it's available offline. So once you download it, it's on your computer. and you can get to it through this reader page here. So check that out. For those of you who like extra resources, I included a link to a different textbook that has the same kind of stuff, just a different author. And there's a web view and a PDF view if you like to read extra stuff. The way the module system works in Canvas is that there's always a next button to bring you the next page that I lined up. So I set a specific order to stuff. So here I have what's called the daily work schedule. And the daily work schedule, you'll notice, is different than the course calendar. So I'm going to bring up both here. So the course calendar shows the last day you can turn something in for a grade. Eventually. Come on, calendar. Interesting. Why won't you work? Because the course isn't started yet, perhaps. Okay. Looks like I gotta log in a different way to show you that. Let's try this account. And Canvas. So it looks like the calendar's not working yet because the course has not officially started. If I go in, so as of Monday, you'll be able to see the calendar in Canvas. Okay, so once the calendar is active in Canvas, when the quarter starts, you'll be able to see what looks like this. And these are the days things are due and times. So if you wait until Wednesday to do the homework, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to get it done in one day because it was too hard. Okay, so just because there's nothing in the calendar on Tuesday the 3rd doesn't mean you have nothing to do. So back to what I call the daily work schedule. The daily work schedule is set up so that if you work on section 1.1 on Monday and Tuesday, then you'll be ready to turn it in by Wednesday. If you work on section 1.2 on Wednesday and Thursday, then you'll be ready to turn it in by the due date on Friday. So this is the calendar that you want to work off of. The other calendar just shows when things are due, which means if you stick to the Canvas calendar, you'll always be behind, struggling to get shit done on time. Be careful. Manage your time carefully. If something is due in Canvas on Monday, you better start it a few days ahead of time if you hope to get it done and learn the material. All right. So one of your assignments is to print this out, hang it somewhere, take a picture, and send me that picture of it hanging up in your work area, maybe on your refrigerator. When you first get into the course and are asked to do something that's math related, that's going to bring up inside of Canvas a little window to MyOpenMath. The first time you do that, it's going to ask you to sign in. So if you already have a MyOpenMath account, just enter your username and password and sign in. If you don't have a MyOpenMath account, then you're going to create an account right now that allows Canvas to connect to the online homework system. Canvas does a lot of things well, but it doesn't do math very well. So either you'll sign in with the username and password you already have for MyOpenMath, or you're going to create a new MyOpenMath account right here. And Canvas is giving MyOpenMath my first name and last name and email address that Canvas knows me as. Feel free to change that if you wish. And I'm going to sign in. And this assignment is giving me a little warning. It says, are you sure you want to start? This is a 30-minute time limit. So most of the assignments don't have a time limit. So if you start the syllabus quiz and you haven't read it, you better read the syllabus first and then come in and take the quiz. So take a read through that syllabus. You're responsible for everything that's in there. If you have any questions on it, email me and I'll help you out. All right, so you're just going to work through these items one at a time, read the syllabus, take the syllabus quiz. The Intro to MyOpenMath assignment is to just orient you to using this particular system, like reading instructions and typing the numbers. When you click on a box, sometimes there'll be extra instructions underneath, and sometimes there's this yellow arrow which brings up an equation editor to help you type things, which is going to come in handy later. And you just answer each question to the best of your ability and submit them. And there's just different kinds of questions about how to answer things with square roots in them, things with powers in them, things that are fractions. Occasionally there'll be videos, and you do your best. Most of the assignments, you can just keep doing it until you get 100%. Syllabus quiz is one of the few exceptions, and the tests. Oh, let me go back to that. There's something else I wanted to point out there. When you're in an assignment, it will show that there's due dates on assignments. And generally, the Canvas due dates in the calendar, Canvas calendar will match the MyOpenMath due dates, which are listed right here. On some assignments, you can apply a late pass to them. And that late pass gives you a couple extra days to get it done. It's up to you to apply the late pass. The syllabus explains more about late passes. So again, read that, check it out, and let me know if you have any questions. If ever this in red says in review mode, that means the due date has passed. It means it won't record any scores for you. And so that's something that you have got to pay attention to, the due dates, if something ends up in review mode because the due date passed, and if you can apply a late pass to it. So again, please read about late passes. Email me if you have any questions. Math utilities, you're going to have some kind of calculator for this class. Eventually, you want some kind of graphing calculator. And my recommendation is the Desmos graphing calculator. And so Desmos is a free online graphing calculator. There's an app you can get on your phone. Some testing centers won't let you use that. But when you take your tests, they're going to be part online and part on paper. And you can use the Desmos graphing calculator on tests. So if you needed to graph something like this, Desmos does a nice job, even plots significant points for you. And it acts as a regular calculator. So if I wanted to know the square root, I would type SQRT to get it started. And then I want the square root of 16, and Desmos says the answer is 4. I want the square root of 20. Desmos says the answer is 4.47-ish. So this acts as a regular calculator also. And I'll demo that later in the course some more. All right, as you move through the course, you're going to occasionally see optional assignments. So things to look for. I put things in here because I need you to look at them. So anytime you see a link to something, you should check it out. Anytime something has a date, that means it's for a grade and you better get it done by that date, the latest. Most MyOpenMath assignments allow you to assign a late pass to it. Optional stuff, if it says optional, it means it's not for a grade. So you can do it or not do it, it's up to you. So I highly recommend you do the optional prerequisite exam. That's going to warm you up to stuff that you learned before this course in an elementary or basic algebra course or beginning algebra course. And these skills are going to come in handy in this course. So this is a way to just kind of brush up on this stuff. And pretty much all the skills in here we're going to use this quarter. So if any of this stuff you're really rusty on, it's good to know now. And then I can find some materials for you to brush up on that if you need to. But if it says optional, it doesn't count for a grade. But a lot of people need more practice than just the basic stuff I'd put here. So some people are gonna want to do all the optional stuff. About 1/3 to half of my students end up doing some or all of the optional assignments I put in the course. Attribution is just the copyright information about where I got these materials and why I have the right to use them. And then I have a YouTube channel, which I'm recording to here that you're watching. And so you can check out my playlist either in YouTube by following this link out of this page, or the playlist is embedded within Canvas, and then you can look up videos that I've done, which usually I do weekly overview videos for this course. Sometimes I'll do something a little more particular. All right, testing. You do have tests for this class. There are 2 midterm exams and a final exam that's in 2 parts. The first part is called the exit exam, no calculator. The second part is calculators allowed. And you have to take them no later than the date I published right here. You can always take things earlier, but not later. So please plan ahead for these. Make sure you have a proctor set up, whether you're going to a testing center or you have a proctor somewhere else, or you're using ProctorU. So there's more information about testing here. So please check this out. All of the tests are online, but I require you to write work on paper, and that paper gets submitted to me. So if you take it at a testing center, they'll scan it and send it to me. If you take it with ProctorU, then it's up to you to scan and send the work to me after you take the test. And again, the tests are proctored. That means no book, no notes. It's just you and the test and some paper and a calculator. All right. And then we're down to the daily work. So the daily work are in the places called Module 1, Module 2, and so on. At the top of each module, I'll have a link to the chapter in the book. Earlier you saw here, there's a link to the whole book right there. And then in each section, I'll have a link to that section part of the book. And so the way you run this is you could do the optional challenge if you want. The optional challenge is pretty much a review of everything that's in the chapter. So if you've done this maybe a long time ago, you could take the challenge first, and that'll hit your memory for things that you used to know and maybe forgot a little bit, help you get that back. Again, it's optional, doesn't count for a grade, don't have to do it. Otherwise, what you do is you jump in here, grab a piece of paper, and start reading the textbook. If you have the textbook in print from the bookstore, then open it up and start doing stuff. Anytime there's an example, so down here a little further is an example, you should try it and then check with the solution they have to see how close your answer or your work is. The work is as important as the answer, if not more so. Okay. So there's a bunch of examples. So anytime it says example, give it a try and then check the solution in the book. After you do that, next, jump into the videos. Videos are kind of like pieces of my class or somebody else doing a class like mine. There's some video lessons first. They tend to be a little longer. And then after that, there's a specific problem examples. So these tend to be a bit shorter. Okay? So based on what you just looked at in the book, decide which, if some or all of these videos that you're going to watch. And each one of them goes over an example or a set of examples.
One of the reasons that we learned a factor.
And you can either click the link to view them in a separate page, or you can view them in a little box within this page right here.
One of the reasons that we learned a factor.
All right, once you feel comfortable with the stuff from the textbook and the video, then try the homework. Note, please read the text and watch the videos before attempting the homework. If you just jump into each section and do the homework and that's it, and you show up for a test, you're probably not going to do very well. Most people need more practice than that. So here, and read the questions carefully. When you click on a box, it'll offer some tips. There's usually a more button, so you can get examples of the kinds of things to type. If you're not sure how to type something, the equation editor can often help. So I highly recommend you use that. So here, what is the greatest common factor of the polynomial below? So I would copy that down on paper, analyze it, write something down, and then after I finish writing it down, then I would come here and write what I think the answer is. So I think the answer is 2. And maybe you're not sure how to do powers, right? So you go to the equation editor. And here, oh, there's a power button right there. Okay, so I'll put the power in, but I'm not sure I used it right. Maybe I'm supposed to type my 2, then my x, and then my power. So it takes some time to get used to these systems. So whatever you think the answer is, type it in, save it, and then it will format it so it's typed properly. So there's things you type in the box, and there's a preview. The preview will be like what was in the equation editor. If you ever have a message like syntax error, that means you typed something wrong. So pay attention to the messages that pop up here and try to correct it. Just because your syntax is the way you type something, is okay, doesn't mean you get the right answer. You can submit and see if you get it right. If you watch the video to get help, then you should try a similar question to be sure that you can do it independently, because on the test you'll be independent. All right, I think that's it for now. So read the intro material, start doing some math, and get in touch with me if you have any questions. Take care. I'll catch you in the future.